Welcome to the Brilliant Board Review Podcast, your trusted source for high-yield board prep, CME, and the latest in clinical medicine.
All right, this is another study to discuss doing proper blood pressure. In this study, they did the different arm positioning and blood pressure measurements. Just remember, garbage in, garbage out. And I want you to think about, in your environment, are people doing proper blood pressures? Are they doing it correctly? Because the data they give you is so important for diagnosing and for treatment. And is this data wrong? So what is the proper position? Is the arm supported on the desk with a cuff at the heart level? And usually we read with the right arm, usually. Why we want to avoid misclassifying patients. So in the study, they did about 104 patients. They had hand in the lap, and that was, the blood pressure was 4 millimeters of mercury higher than accurate. And they did an arm unsupported, which is probably, between these two, is probably what most people do in their clinics. And they're sitting up on the exam table and they have an arm unsupported, their hand in the lap. And this was 6 millimeters of mercury. So it is so important we get proper measurements. And this has to be militant. This has to be where it's everybody who's coming into the facility gets measured the same way. So is it possible? Well, let me tell you exactly what you need to do. And it's almost impossible. The best position to take blood pressure is seated in a chair with your feet on the floor. So think about in the hospital, is that really easy to do? With your arm supported at the elbow and the cuff is at heart level. You should remain in this position throughout the measurement. Okay, now what's the other rules? No smoking or caffeine at least 30 minutes before the test. I'm sure that people are drinking their Starbucks before they're coming in the room. Do you need to sit quietly for 5 minutes before the test begins? How long does that happen? How long can people sit quietly for 5 minutes now? The inflatable part of the cuff should be at least cover at least 80% of the upper arm, and the cuff should be placed on a bare skin, not over a shirt. How many times do we do this? Can't talk during the measurement. No talking. Have your blood pressure measured twice with a brief break in between. If there's a difference between 5 millimeters of mercury, need to do it a third time. Well, how many times at your facility are you doing this correctly? So just think about this. Remember, you got to have good data to make good decisions.
Thanks for listening. Visit brilliantcourses.com to learn more and claim credits for this educational activity. See you next time.